Hi, this is Eternal King here, bringing you another LOR video today. So I wanted to talk about what it means to be the last man standing in LOR. So for those that know me, for people who play Eternal, I don't run alt accounts. I'm fairly well known in that play space. Again, here's my player icon. You'll always recognize me when I'm online, and chances are I'll add you as a friend afterwards, because again, my win rate and in terms of my ability to play other people, it's basically indisputable in the Eternal format. That in addition to a lot of the players leaving the game, Majin Bey is playing Teamfight Tactics. Mogwai is back to Marvel Snap. Grappler and Sunny are both meme lords. They're not really good sources of competitive play rates and decks. They're simply kind of fun brew people, and you can enjoy their decks for the fun brews that they are, but they're not the kind of thing that you can actually play and win with reliably most of the time. Grappler's had a deck or two, I think, that has been outside of that mold, and then Sunny has never actually built a truly competitive deck, as far as I know. So with that out of the way, when it comes to it, the Eternal competitive scene and the new Eternal season, I'm pretty much the last man standing that you can rely on. So if you want to go look at my post-patch meta predictions video, it does outline pretty much every single type of deck that you should be playing coming into the new season. There are exactly 11 decks outlined in that video, and then 2 decks you shouldn't play. And then the one that I forgot, I'm actually going to talk about now, because again, I'm kind of the only decent source of information on this now. So it is, of course, Meta TF, so Meta TF Sunken Temple. Now, it's important to note that this deck is actually doing worse with the passage of time. And this is the thing, is like there are other decks that you think I probably should be mentioning as well. Annie Aggro is a great example of a deck that you think I probably should be mentioning. Annie Aggro has dropped off massively in terms of win rate. It's currently sub 50%. Now, sub 50% for an aggro deck in terms of win rate is garbage. Rise can be like a 40% win rate deck because of its high variability in terms of its ability to, for example, have a starting hand with the 5 pieces of Exodia, to use a Yu-Gi-Oh example. You can have his 5 landmarks sitting in hand, and that game is going to go much better for the Rise player than, the game where he doesn't draw any landmarks, and hence why he has a 40% win rate. That's assuming that the other player isn't doing anything to interact with you, isn't an aggro deck, and things like that. But this deck is also seeing a bit of a drop-off. So we're currently seeing TF Sunken Temple at 53%, and the drop of 3% in terms of the performance of this deck is, despite something like a Nilla buff, is pretty straightforward, and that's just, kill Temple, right? I know it sounds like it's not like rocket science, but like it really is just down to it's one of those polarizing decks where it's just like if you tech the landmark counter in your list in Eternal, and again you have a lot of cards for every single region that can generate landmark removal. If you tech that, say you're running the 3 temples, but then the opponent has the 3 landmark techs, you're going to have a much harder time going crazy with TF. Because at that point, you just have to like Mystic Shot the TF or challenge the TF or whatever, and then the deck doesn't really do anything. And that's the thing, is like this deck, is dependent on Sunken Temple. Sunken Temple gives you the big Ruined Rex removal, so he can ping 6 times, which is when he's at its best. Sunken Temple turbos the TF, Sunken Temple turbos the Nilla. So either way you look at it, this deck basically needs Sunken Temple to function. Otherwise, it's a whole lot of nothing. It's a whole lot of cycling without really any payoffs. So again, 53% is great for a combo deck. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not downplaying it. I think this deck is exceptionally strong, and I include it in my top 12 lists of meta decks for the new Eternal season. It is very, very good, but it's also a deck that can be countered. So if people just start teching the landmark removal, you're going to have a much worse time. So, as the last man standing in Eternal, I think I've done a pretty good job accounting how this last season of Eternal is going to go for the, this is more or less the last hurrah of LOR. We've gotten our last patch. We have one last expansion that we're going to hit. and we have, you know, 1 or 2 seasons of Eternal left. And so for one of these final seasons, I'm probably the only player who's telling you what you should or should not be playing. Because again, I'm the last man standing. So here are the 12 decks. Meta Zero Aurelia, Meta Draven Rumble, Meta Elusive Spam, Meta Jace Lux, Meta Nora Swain, Meta Poppy Tarek, Meta Samira Bot, Meta Temple, Meta Thresh Nasus, Meta Ziggs Poppy. Those are the decks, and then you have, you know, Meta Samira Auction is the other deck, and very likely some sort of unknown auction list. I mean, not some unknown Lee Sin list is going to join as well, likely with the buffed Master League. So yeah, that's it. And you know, Eddie has been nerfed, and then I just don't think Mordekaiser is going to get there for the Eternal format. But you know, I could be wrong. I just think the Thresh Nasus does the exact same thing better. So I hope that's helpful. You know, look forward to seeing me next Eternal season. I'll be playing some meta stuff. I'll be playing some off-meta stuff. And generally speaking, you're going to see me pop up as the least known Canadian Masters player in Eternal. And you're going to lose to me, and you're going to be like, who is this scrub that I'm losing to? And it was Eternal King all along. Alright, that's it for today. This is Eternal King signing out.